This 1 Degree Outside video is brought to you by Attitash Mountain Village. Book your stay directly through the link on our homepage, onedegreeoutside.com. One Degree Outside Insights video, the weekend insights here, the deep dive into meteorology. Meteorologist Matt Noyce, good to be with you. You know, the jet stream stays down to the south here, and that means the brunt of the next storm stays to the south. But this time's a little different from the past few. We still have northern stream energy that's going to come through, and that means we are going to get a little bit of snow over the course of the day on Saturday. So here's the setup. Atmospheric energy plotted in yellow and orange and red. And you can see that we've got southern stream energy that definitely misses. That's where the bulk of the moisture is, right? But the northern branch of the jet stream is feeding in some energy that actually comes right overhead. What we've done here is we put very faintly for you where the surface winds are, and you can see that storm circulation way southeast of New England. But by virtue of the fact that we've got energy in the atmosphere overhead during the day Saturday, that promotes snow growth. In fact, by the fact that we've got not only the energy, but also some cold air going on aloft as well, this also promotes something that we call an inverted trough, or some may call it a Norlund trough if you get enough instability involved. What is it? Basically, when you've got the energy and cold air overhead, you can see a disturbance extending north and west of the main storm center. So here is the storm. It strengthens as it moves off the coast, but you see that dashed line. We call it a trough. We see those a lot. It's a wind shift. It's a pressure weakness in the atmosphere. It can focus cloud development and therefore snow or rain a little bit more effectively. Well, when it comes backwards off a storm to the north and west, we call that an inverted trough. It's kind of upside down. So we think that during the day Saturday, that will help to fuel some of the snow showers and make them last a little longer, particularly near the coast. You'll be able to track the whole thing, of course, using our completely free app, Noyce's 1 Degree Outside Weather. I love going to the past plus future mode on the radar page, and you'll be able to watch as everything kind of evolves there. And special thanks to CrackX for promoting and sponsoring that radar page as well. All right, so in terms of the overall radar forecast, again, when you're in it, you get the updates, every hour on that. But the overview is between 4 and 7 a.m. on Saturday. Most of us find the snow coming in. This is at 6 a.m. It's light, but the temperatures are below freezing. So it sticks out of the gate. When you get into Maine, we're on a later time frame. As a matter of fact, from Augusta to Bangor, even as we get toward 9 a.m., there's nothing for you while everybody else is snowing. Now, as we start getting out toward midday tomorrow, I'll stop things right around midday. Light snow expands down the Maine Turnpike. Notice it's already pretty much wrapping up in parts of western New England. And in between is where things get a little interesting. I'll say that if you're someone who takes care of treatments or snow removal, there may be some amount of snow removal that goes on, but not a lot, because I'll show you the amounts here in just a second. Treatments, I think, will be very effective, because notice the temperature climbing up to about 32 to 34 degrees by midday and kind of staying there into the afternoon. There'll be a bit of a lull where things begin to break up between about noon and 2 o'clock. But notice this disturbance, that inverted trough, or that Norlund trough that kind of extends off to the north and west. And what does it do? As it starts to swing south, you actually get a revival of some of the snow showers. These are very tough to pinpoint in terms of just how strong they'll be and just how west they'll reach. But I think that the general consensus here is to say, okay, during the later day and evening, you do get a little bit of a regeneration of snow showers in eastern New England as the temperature slides below freezing. This means that you may ice things up again during your Saturday evening and the first part of the night. And in fact, on Cape Cod and parts of the South Shore, as the wind goes northerly and then north-northwesterly behind the storm, you'll actually get a little ocean enhancement that'll happen on the Cape into the first part of Saturday night as well. And then by the time we get to Sunday, it's all gone. So in terms of how much snow, actually for the amount of hours there may be flakes flying, it doesn't add up a ton. We talked about the marginal temperatures. We talked about the fact that the intensity kind of comes and goes. So in general, you've got a coating to an inch across a lot of the area. But notice that we have put into 1 to 2 inches areas of Essex County. And also when you get down to the Cape, the blue indicating where you might get a solid 2. We may do the same thing in southeast New Hampshire. More on that in a moment. And you also will do the same thing in some of the higher terrain of western New England, while it's generally a coating to an inch and more toward the coating in a lot of central Massachusetts and much of Connecticut. Here's the deal on this area of blue that represents a solid 2. Most often when you see these inverted troughs or Northern troughs setting up, you're usually going to get your biggest impact either in southern Maine or the New Hampshire seacoast. It can certainly spread down through Boston, as we looked at, with some enhanced snow showers, but generally if you're going to see an increased zone of snow, it's probably going to be in this area or into southern Maine. So in this case, we're thinking probably you get some enhancement in southeast New Hampshire. This is not a real epic one of these events. It would not be necessarily a textbook example. It's kind of a marginal event for it, but nonetheless, that's the zone you'd watch. The other thing is you have a little bit more fluffy nature to the snow in northern New England, so I bet, even though you see the solid 2s and the presidentials with a little bit of upslope snow on the backside of this system, we also think that the northern greens probably would do the same thing. And in parts of the Maine Turnpike, actually, you may get a little bit of enhancement toward the end of Saturday into Saturday evening as well. So again, high temperatures we kind of looked at together as we ran things through, but they do come near and above the melting point in a lot of spots. But here's the refreeze Saturday night, and the reason that if you do treat roads and walkways, just be advised, I think you're going to freeze things up again as we get into the evening and the night, and what you'd be using out there for treatment might change just a little bit. We get into Sunday and this thing is gone. That inverted trough dies out. You're looking at sunshine that comes out. It's not an exceptional wind for us here. Really, next week looks breezy, but it doesn't look nearly as windy as this past week was, as there's just not the same amount of strong storms that are nearby, especially not in Atlantic Canada. But as we get into Tuesday, there may be some increased clouds and increased chance of a snow shower that comes into play for us as well. And of course, you know already, you can look at the 14-day forecast on our app. I can tell you that Sunday, actually, it doesn't feel bad. This is not one of those storms that there's a ton of cold air behind it. You're still able to rebound to the 30s. Sunday night down to about 20. And by Monday, you're at 35 to 40. Some of us may actually break 40 degrees on Monday, Tuesday, likely to be in the 30s with, again, the increase in clouds and the chance of a snow shower. A reminder that we just put out our 3rd episode of our podcast yesterday for Inside Track members and above at patreon.com/1degreeoutside. 1 Degree Outside enthusiasts are daily updating 30 snow sports maps. Plus, we update our snow sports discussion on Thursdays and Sundays, and our 1 Degree Outside champions. You see us from time to time thanking the small businesses who support us as well, and we like to give just a little bit of love back in return. Gate City Reflexology, one of those that we've mentioned quite a bit. That's where things stand for now. We will look forward to seeing you again with a weekend update Saturday morning. In the meantime, have a great rest of the day.